Greetings, Sir Janus. My name is Liezel P. Larracas, and my student number is 1902731, and we're here to present to you our group project entitled Library Management with Inventory System. And here are my members.
Greetings, Sir Janus. My name is John Luis Amular, and my student number is 1902461.
And I'm Christian Paulo S. Banaag, and my student number is 1902634.
Good day, sir. I'm Kerwin, Caballes. My student number is 2101068.
And my name is Johrenc B and my student number is 2102233.
And my name is Jose Luis Fontanilla, and my student number is 2101051.
And I'm Raymond P. Lagmay, and my student number is 1902373.
Greetings, my name is Patricia Lindo and my student number is 2101946.
My name is Deejay Mamplata and my student number is 1902409.
And I am Tristan Ramos, and my student ID is 1903001. Let's proceed to the demonstration of our project.
Now, now here in the admin login frame, the main function of this code is to check if the text boxes of the username and password is equal to the default username and password of the admin, which is admin and admin. Now, if the user is a student or a borrower, this the login code will be like this. The main function of this code is to loop check the student record table and check every single row until it can find an equal value of the username and password in the text boxes. And if it did not found the same value, an error will occur. If it did not, if it found the same value after the user login, he can now go to the mainframe. Also, there is a code here that sets the current login user and show it in the mainframe. And now, Caballes will explain the next code.
Thank you, Mr. Fontanilla. I'm going to explain the code in Manage Book Information frame at the around 184 line. In the table here, if the user select the row, the data of the row will be set on the fields on the admin, so the admin can update the book. In the line of 1000, line 1000, in the save row method, the data collected will be stored at the object containers to add the row on the different table models. In the update, if the admin wants to update, the data collected will be set on the selected row in the table instead. If the admin use delete, the program will remove the selected row in the table. In the line of 580, in this code, the program scan if the user add one or more category in the book. If the radio button is selected, the category string will add that selected radio button and update the current categories of the book. Next, change password frame on the line 90. The code here is using the current login user ID to make a for loop to get the username and the password and compare it to the new password. Then if successfully executed, the username and password of the current user will change. Next is Ms. Larracas.
Hello, good day, sir. Here are my presentation about add or remove, add stock or add damage In line 824, using the spinner, you will just add or delete add the specific stock in the new stock frame, in the new stock spinner. And also, when the user accidentally clicks the save button, a message dialog will appear asking the user that to please select a book to add stock or add damage book. Then if it's not, it will execute this line of codes. Um, let's proceed to the next, which is Ramos. Sorry.
I'll explain the borrow books code. Here in borrow books, the line of codes from 276. The line of codes from 276 is to check if the user have a penalty. If the user doesn't have a penalty, the user can still borrow a book. At the line of codes from 305, if the current stock is equals to 0, the row will be removed on the table. If there are still stock, the stock number will decrease. And the line of codes from 342, it is to check if the user already borrowed 3 books and will disable the user to borrow more. And the last code from the line code from 405, if the user have a pending penalty, he will not be able to borrow a book. We'll move on to the next code, will be presented by Mr. Mamplata.
So the next is frame return book around 203. This code will just concatenate the table if when selected there will be an data a data in placeholder. In 256, 223, the code will just check if the user has more than 2 days of return. If user has returned more than 2 days, it will have an equivalent penalty of 10, and every added day will have another 10 pesos. In code 272, it's connected in borrow book when it's while the code is penalty, it will run, and for it will read the the model data in penalty, and once there will be a name of the user, it it will become true, and in the penalty, just like Mr. Ramos said, it will not it will not make the user have make a borrow. Next is Mr. Amular for the next code.
Thank you. So for the next code is frame penalty. And the meaning of this code is when the selected row is greater than -1, the code will execute below, and then the selected row will be removed in the J table and will be paid. And this try catch is to return the borrowed book which has penalty in the stocks management. After that, a J option tree will pop up which says the penalty book is now paid. The next one that will report is Miss Lindo.
Thank you, Mr. Amular. For this code, This event handler property change is for the changes of the table, so whenever the user formatted JText field, admin can detect when someone enter a new value. So Mr. Fontanilla will execute the program.
Now, upon running the program, a loading screen will pop up. And after it finishes loading and reach 100%, then it will go to the login frame. Now, the user will be give a choice if he is an admin or student. But first, he is an admin, so he will log in as an admin. Now, the admin will create an account for the user. He will go to the management and student information, and he will enter the information of the borrower or the student. The admin can also update and delete some of the information that he added. Update. And he can also delete. Now, the admin can give the student the username and password that he created for him. The admin will first need to log out. Then the student can use the username and password that the admin gave her. Now, it will be displayed who is the currently logged in the main form. Now, Mr. Caballes will explain the next part.
Thank you, Mr. Fontanilla. So in the Manage book, in the Manage book tab, the admin cannot update or delete if the table do not have an item. To add book, the admin need to click the new button. The admin can set the book name, author, volume, other information, stock categories, and upload an image. By successfully adding all information needed, the admin can save the prepared book. The Manage book can also have a research function to filter the books. Categories. In Manage Book Categories, the admin can set the categories of the books. The books can set to one or multiple categories. To filter the categories, the admin should turn on the filter and off if not needed. Next, Mr. Larracas will explain the damaged books and stocks.
Thank you, Mr. Caballes. Here are my part. So, when you click the add and add some new stock, ah, click this first. Then add new stock and damage on it. And when you click the save, it will add it successfully and will update the current status of the book. So, for the next, uh, Banaag, sorry.
For the next execution, it is for the student. Once the student log in their account, it will have a menu that shows borrow and borrow. These frames gives the student a chance to borrow books with the three limits, and it can search some available books. After this execution, or after the student borrow a book, it will automatically proceed to the approval of borrow, and it will be discussed by Raven.
Thank you, Mr. Banaag. Here, the admin check the date of borrow and date of return if there is wrong in these dates. 2 days is the maximum day for borrowing. After, after the admin approved the books, the raw data will be transferred to another frame and the next reporter will explain the next frame.
Thank you, Mr. Lagmay. In the frame, frame return book, user will select a row and return a book. If it's not more than 2 days, it will not have a penalty and will go in stock management. But if there's a penalty, it will go in penalty frame, and the penalty frame is will be explained by Mr. Amular.
Thank you, Mr. Mamplata. The first thing that the user need to do is click the paid button to enable the table below. After that, the user need to select a row in the table to. Once saving the book, will be returned. The stocks will return on the stock management. If the book has penalty, it will include charges, and if it has no penalty, it will not include charges. The next reporter will be Mr. De Leon.
So, good day. My part in our final project is the view reports. And first, I'm going to explain about the report frame. It shows the book reports whenever the user or the student returned or borrowed a book, while the other frame, which is the end, by the way, okay, the other frame shows the collected penalties. So, whenever the user or the student failed to return the book in the right time, the amount of penalty and the user will be shown on the frame. That's it. Thank you. On to the next reporter.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon. In this frame, we show all the transactions that have been made by the student. It displays name of student, name, and the number of the books that have been borrowed. The author of the books, date of the borrow, date of the return, and the penalties. So Mr. Caballes will explain the next program.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. On the change password, changing the student username and password requires the user to enter the old password and verify it. By successfully changing the username and password, the program will notify the user that it changed successfully. And if you log out and go to admin, the student information of that user will be updated. That's all. Thank you.
Additionally, box available damage. The box will go there and in damage box, damage status, it will show up the only box with damage, while available is the all available box. That's all. Thank you.